This is Grow by Design. Are you a business owner struggling with the direction of your company? Do you hesitate, wanting things to be perfect before you take action? Do you question your strength as a leader? If you answer yes to any of these questions, this is the show for you.
All right, everybody, we are back again, and I'm super excited to have a good friend on, Caleb Almond. He's from Ohio. He's the founder of Auman Landscape that was started in 2009. He's also the founder of the Hardscape Academy, which I know the beginnings of that was something that I'd always connected with a ton of his content and have loved. And that was even really before the Hardscape Academy. So I'm sure he's going to share some about that as well. Auman Landscape YouTube channel is something I've consumed so much content on, looking and learning about pavers and whatnot. Also has the Kid Contractor podcast, which I've been a part of and listened to, and I definitely love it, and it's a great source of value there as well. And he comes from 20 years of experience in the industry, which makes him really, really well-rounded in the landscaping and hardscaping, and I'm just happy to be able to call him a good friend of mine. So Caleb, dude, thanks for coming on today. I know there's probably more stuff I missed, and if you got anything to add to the introduction, let it rip, dude.
Hey, Jacob. Thanks, man, so much for having me on and working with my schedule also, by the way. It's hectic sometimes, so I'm grateful for your grace there. But yeah, we've been in landscape contracting for a long time. I started my first company actually in 1999, which is, I started back in the late 1900s, if it's the way the kids are saying it nowadays. And I crashed that company, learned a lot of hard lessons in those first 10 years of that company. And wife started a new company after that as we were dating. There's a long story there, but that's the gist of it. Learned a ton of lessons and always learning, right? And so we're always learning, and we got to that point. Our primary business, we're a landscape design build company in just southeast of Columbus, Ohio. We have, and you know what? I say we have 4 full-time staff. It's such a habit. This year, we're growing. We're looking to double our revenue to about 2.2. We're looking to do that with 6 or 7 guys in the field. And we put a tremendous emphasis on equipment and tools and machines, and then very, very healthy pricing that makes this whole struggle that we call business worth it, is ideal. And we have another thing. We actually co-venture with Brian Fullerton and Liz Fullerton called Together in the Trades. It's a marriage conference based around working together with your spouse, whether you own a business together or not. It's still applicable. All that stress comes home no matter what. Mm-hmm. Yeah, shoot, man. We got our hands in a bunch of stuff, but trying to raise good kids, trying to keep a marriage together. And I say that, it makes it sound like it's a problem. But, it's business and marriage is tough, man. And so we're just always working at that. And, man, I'm gearing up for 2025. We're geared up pretty much, ready to go. We're going to try to get out next week. We'll see. Turn some revenue. I'd sure like to turn some revenue.
Yeah.
I'm always envious of the market on that end because, man, you're turning revenue year-round. Maybe not as much in peak season, but we went to zilch because we don't do snow. We don't mow. And so we've done about 6 weeks of no revenue, and we set aside money for that. We're all right, but our CPA, and we're going to have a meeting this afternoon. And they're going to say, "Hey, we need to get turned some revenue. We're burning up too much retained earnings there." So,
yeah. Well, I can definitely relate. I mean, Illinois, it's the exact same thing. I'm right, like, please God, I just want to get back to work. And we'd said that, hey, February 17th, we're pulling the trigger. We are pulling the trigger on spring services. And then March 1st, we're breaking ground on our first paver patio and actually starting to get into really rocking and rolling. And we had a meeting this morning, and I look at the weather, and next week is all in the highs of 11 and supposed to get snow Tuesday. And I'm like, when is this going to break? Because 2 weeks ago, it looked like it was going to be decent. But, for all of us in that Midwestern area, and those two geographically are really close to kind of our other locations, it looks like the following week is looking super good. So fingers crossed, ready to hammer, because same thing, seeing that we still did some stuff, but $5,000 worth of stuff in January, it pales. You may as well not do anything,
Yeah. Yeah, that's your total revenue for the month. That's that mobilizing. You're probably upside down by the time you mobilize for that amount of revenue, but you gave it a shot, right?
100%. And for us, that's just the little things we do. And we have a lot of people in the off season working to prep. So we kind of throw in those little things just to help keep like 4 guys busy. Well, yeah, cool. Hopefully
you're still running the Illinois branch. I apologize. We haven't spoken a little bit here, but you're still running Illinois.
Yeah, we still
Amazing.
operate. We still operate in Illinois, and now Illinois and Florida are they're pretty much equal in companies. And then in Illinois, we also have, we kind of mentioned before we got on, 2024 wasn't my most exciting year ever. That's where we've got the dealership that kind of overall bumped us up some. So yeah, things have stayed really steady there, and we've actually now, which is cool that I get to talk to you so much about landscaping today. We've actually finally got like a really solid crew, because ever since I stepped away, I was always the go-to person for if there was a problem in projects. You know, the excavator has an issue, we don't understand the grade, we don't, whatever the case was. We finally got a really solid team where we've got 3 different crews out running landscape projects, where I feel comfortable, really comfortable in that, you know, 50 to 150, $200,000 project range of like, we have people on staff that can make it happen.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Heck yeah. Because I know anytime I talk to you, I just think about you as Florida, and then I forget, like, yeah, he's got a whole nother northern division around. It's just amazing, man. It's killer. You keep that going. That's so cool, because we're learning a lot about that now. Ourselves, this is our first year. We hired a full-time designer and salesperson. And so he's done our design work for us for years. Yeah, and it's really cool. It's really amazing. So he just started Wednesday this week. Here it's mid-February, and he came on. He's done our design work for us. He's a landscape architect by degree, and he's done our design work for us freelance for 2 or 3 years, at least 3 years maybe now. And then we actually had a working relationship with him at another company where we were subbing for the company he was working for. And so, like, we got a great relationship. It's just one of these unicorn events that just all happen to work out. It's a big move for us fiscally, but I know enough about business now that I know output of X brings in Y. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I'm mature enough now in business to understand that, and understand that if we, Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise, as they say, we invest this, we get this return out of it. And so as I started looking at business, every purchase or time we spent money as that, if I understood that, even if it was a bit of a stretch of like, if we buy this $80,000 machine, it's the equivalent of, 3 team members for 3 years, or what, of labor production, I'm saying, not monetary value, but then it just makes sense, because it'll make them that much more productive, and we get that much more work done. So we started looking at everything like that. Our profits changed, our revenue per hour changed. Like, it's just so I don't know. I've learned a lot, because I've had to learn a lot. I didn't come into this knowing a bunch out the gate.
Yeah.
I imagine that's the same for everybody, but everybody feels like they're alone, right? Everybody feels like they're the only one that's got to figure this out the hard way. Part of my goal, and I know your goal too, is, to help people not have to learn the hard way, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that you made a really good point. I think just kind of sharing some of that uncertainty we all have with a lot of these things that we have to figure out or go through makes people feel a lot better. When you say that, everybody feels like, hey, I'm the only person with that problem. I don't know anybody that, like, most of business is getting involved in stuff you don't understand, then learning and figuring it out. And it's either a financial stretch or a bandwidth stretch or some kind of stretch that feels scary until you do it. And then you just kind of stack those little bricks along the way, and being able to share that with people versus them having to get kind of like that base layer of that laid so they've got some understanding around it, I feel like is really valuable.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. And again, you being an OG of the industry and myself, that hasn't always been there, right? And so nowadays, the amount of information out there available through your podcast, through mine, through YouTube, through a couple other channels that I look forward to telling you about, if you're not aware of them here later. The amount of content and way to build a business that's available is just, it really is. If the sky's the limit, if you want it. And really, frankly, there's no reason to suck at anything you do anymore. The amount of information that's out there because of the internet is just incalculable. And this is a huge thing I've been on the last 2 years now, really, but it's just personal development more so than anything else I'm focusing on. And I know you've been big on that kick for a while, and I wish I would have learned that from you or picked that up from you sooner, because I always thought I was really good at, like, accepting responsibility for things that went wrong in a company. But what I didn't realize is how bad of a job I was doing at realizing how bad a job I was actually doing. You know what I mean? I took responsibility.
You don't know what you don't know,
You
right?
don't. And, like, I look back thinking about places I failed as a leader of our company and failing with our own personnel and like putting the wrong people on wrong seats in the bus. They still belonged on the bus. I just had them in the wrong seats. And if I'd have just had the emotional quotient and the leadership understanding to say, no, this person should be doing this, not that, where I wanted them, like, gosh, we'd be so much further ahead. But say la vie. That's how I have to learn, unfortunately. But the amount of information out there now is just so helpful for everybody, and including myself.
For sure. And I don't want to spend much time going on about it, but I love hearing you say that, because that was the one thing that I didn't see a lot of people doing. Like, I got super involved fairly early with the self-development conference, books, education. And like, all of that stuff helped me so much more than just industry stuff. It seemed like it really piled on magnitudes. And so, dude, that's awesome, and I'm glad to see that you're getting more and more involved in that. And I think that there's definitely business is a self-development journey, And so, like, you either try to fast track it some by getting some of that info, or you kind of do the hard knocks. Either way, you're developing,
Yeah. It seems like, so far as I can tell, the guys that scale the most are the people that work on themselves the most, is what it seems like. If I had to say 9 out of 10 times, it's people that realize by working on themselves, everything else around them gets better, it seems.
For sure. I agree 1,000%. That's why I put like so much focus in health, mind, those things just as much. That is equal to or probably greater than like any kind of education I need about actually doing the things of our business. Because heck, if you're the owner of a business, you are one of the driving forces of that business, and like you're the limitation to the business expanding. So we don't want to limit those things.
Yeah.
Back to your stuff, though. Tell me, we were doing this a little bit before, and then we started recording, and I didn't want to get too far into it and make sure we get all of it. But tell me a little bit about how your last year was, 2024, and you've already talked a little bit about it, but what are your big plans for this year in 2025?
Yeah, man. Well, business is an odd creature, right? And so, like, last year we had our best year ever in many ways, fiscally, leadership wise, even. But still, it's just, you look back, still, it's just, dude, growth is such a thing. It's like, you look at growth, be it personally or professionally, or business dollars, whatever, and you just think like, man, I didn't know anything. It was a year ago. I feel like, man, I didn't know anything a year ago. And it just drives me crazy, but it's the truth, and for me anyways, and it's reality. For us, 2025 this year is a year of big time top line growth, and for me, personal growth, and my wife as well. She's an active owner, is incredibly instrumental to the business. And I'm not in the field hardly at all. Brittany and I did about $100,000 worth of billable work last year. Her and I would go out and do a couple commercial excavating contracts that we have for some big box stores, just on stormwater repair type stuff, like drains and parking lots and that kind of things. But the rest of it was done by our guys and our staff in the field and our team there. And so this year we've added 2 official field apprentices this year. I want to add a third, just kind of tiptoeing into that. The goal is to go to 2.2 million this year. So we're adding $1 million of revenue. And then also the big thing for us is I hired a landscape architect and salesperson this year. Michael, our landscape architect, who is by degree, has a degree in landscape architecture. He's actually freelanced our designs for us for 2 or 3 years that I sold, and then we have a working relationship prior to that. So we've got a really good relationship with him, and now he's on board full time at our company, and he's going to take over sales and kind of project management and design. And so I'm super excited for the first time ever. This is what I've been saying, I've always been excited to build cool projects for my clients, like, right, and build cool stuff and nice jobs and all that kind of stuff. But now this is another area of growth, but I'm really excited now for our client experience with our company, which is never something I was like, yeah, I want to be happy, of course, and all that stuff. But now I want them to be ecstatic that they decided to pay more because they went with Auman, because they're going to have this awesome experience of, they know every step from when the first phone call of when they call us to when the project's complete. And they even know what's going to happen a year down the road with us. And so, like, we're looking at really building this boutique experience that is, they know every step of the way. They get stuff when we tell them it's going to. And that's something I was failing at, because, when you're running the company, you're pulled in a million directions. And so our clients got great projects. They got an okay and good customer or client experience with our company. But I think now that I have one person, that's all they focus on.
Yeah.
Design or sales design, implementation, that kind of stuff. With just him, that's all he does. And that's all he has to focus on with the company. And we have a system and a process that we follow through that.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredibly excited for like the rave reviews that I'm manifesting or anticipating that like, hey, your process was awesome. Yeah, you guys were a little more, but like I knew every step of the way what was going to happen. It's just so cool because now, dude, I'm just so amped up for this. It's just really, and it won't go perfect. We'll have lots of problems and, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure of that. I'd be naive to think otherwise. But I'm just so amped up for our clients this year. I don't know if I've ever actually been excited for the client. You know what I mean? Because like,
yeah,
before Michael, and on my wall right now, he gets all this. Poor guy's gonna get all this dumped on Monday. But like, I've got 5 projects on the wall. I probably got $300,000 or $400,000 worth of work on the wall that's sold, done, ready to go. But there's just little pieces and parts missing that I just cannot. I'm just struggling to find time to get to it. And I know that like from here on, that's going to be like so much better of an experience for my clients where they're not waiting on stuff all the time. So I'm just pumped up, man. I'm really excited for the year ahead.
Awesome. That's exciting. You mentioned something there that I want to ask about. Creating this client experience is massive, and that really adds so much value to the company. What you hinted at reviews. Is that going to be like a big focus of this whole process of trying to use this to get even more and more Google reviews? Is kind of like another form of marketing, or is that something you guys focus a lot on?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it has been over the last year too. It's actually, we had our first team meeting, full team, all hands meeting yesterday. And one of the things we're going to do to incentivize our team is to, and it's probably not enough. I think I'm going to put some more money on this. But we told them we'll give any team member, this is infinite, for every Google review that the client specifically mentions their name. We'll give them $50. This is infinite. I think we might up that. I really want this to be a very lucrative thing to them because Google reviews are very important and very valuable, even for clients, as we do a ton of referral work, right? And reputation based work. We still want to be able to direct clients like, hey, check out our Google page. Like if you're even thinking you have any doubts, look at our Google page, come by our office. We want you to meet with us. We don't want you to have any reservations of like giving us a deposit check or can you trust that we'll finish the project on time or within the time allotted. Like, go to our YouTube channel, which I normally don't like sending our clients like our social media channels because I'm more aimed at contractors, but what I'm finding out is like clients see that and it adds peace of mind, which is really interesting. So when they're going to spend $100,000 with us, $250,000, like whatever, or 10 grand, whatever the deal is, it builds so much peace of mind. So we're incentivizing the guys. They seem psyched on $50. I might juice that up some more just because I really want, because one of the things too is like when someone looks at Google reviews and they see individual team members listed by name, like, hey, Travis was awesome when and Bo is so meticulous with his work. That builds rapport even with the team because that's who they're going to be interacting with a lot. And we always get one of the things we always get awesome feedback on is like how great our team is. I'm not perfect, of course. We've all got issues and that's one thing I always have to caveat this because you're so many guys like say, "Oh, my team is awesome and amazing." Like they are, but like we all have issues we're working on and working at getting better and all that kind of stuff. So I just always feel like I want to caveat this, especially because we're people that have a small following and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of guys look to us for answers and that kind of stuff, and it sounds egomaniacal and all that, but that's the reality of it, I suppose. But I never want this to look like it's easier than it is because it's freaking hard. It's tough. Yeah. It's a struggle. It's blood, sweat, and tears, and I mean all 3 of those. It's no joke.
Yeah, I mean, dude, sorry to interrupt.
You're fine.
I don't know anyone that doesn't say the exact same thing. Like, I am super happy and excited to do what I do. I also bear but I'm good at doing it, I guess. Like I bear massive loads of stress and pressure and I take that on because that's what I wanted, right? But it doesn't matter what it looks like. No one's got it easy or special.
Yeah. These are the problems we beg for. You know what I mean? I kind of, it harkens to our show, Kid Contractor podcast. And it's of like, when I was a I thought it was big time contractor. I was trying to be rather, and I was really just kid contractor. But I just dreamt of like, man, when we've got a 500-gallon fuel tank at our shop, we'll be real, And when I got, when I have guys like a call from a guy that backed over, a bunch of blowers or something, and that means we've made it. We're a real company then, or somebody backed into something, or hey, the job site's a muddy mess, and like the retaining cut, the wall cut fell apart in the rain or whatever. Like that, those problems mean we'll be a real business. Now I've got all those problems. I don't have to prove it. I don't need these problems to prove we're a real business anymore. It's not as cool as I thought it'd be.
Yeah, dude. I got an F-250 that just got in an accident. The police and the ambulance just showed up to that started right before this call. And
Lord, are you still good to do this, man? Jeez,
I mean, it's just everybody's good, nobody's hurt. It's not. I can't do anything.
Right.
That's the crazy thing, right? Like when it's started and you were driving the truck and you got in the wreck, you were heavily involved. I'm to the point of like, and you are too. Like people are out in the field doing stuff, and it's like if no one's hurt, like all these things just start happening around you. I think that's what adds some of that stress.
I think that's too to hear. I would imagine for you. There was a time, and for me, it'd be the same. So let's say same instance here at Auman, something like that happens. There was a time where I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'll be right there, whatever. There's no reason for me to go down there, right?
Yeah.
You at your level of leadership now, you're like, all right, well, maybe you have protocol on this or whatever, but get a record called, get a truck out of there, and get back to the office, Uber home, whatever you got to do. Uber back to the office. But like, there's no reason for you to go there. Like, everyone's safe, everything's okay now. All right, pack it up, get it in, guys, figure it out.
Well, and that's the first question too. Like you said, everybody's safe. The team member calls me and he's like upset because I don't think he's ever had a wreck, and he's like apologizing. He's like, "This is a good blah 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 blah." I'm like, "Dude, is everybody safe?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, everybody's fine." The one guy's maybe his rib hurts or something. I'm like, if nobody's seriously injured, like it's irrelevant. We can replace the rest of the stuff. Like the cops are going to be on the way. Figure it out. Pretty cool. We just got dash cams installed in our 3 landscape trucks. So if it's not our fault, we've got extra proof that it's not our fault. I don't really know the scenario, but yeah, like you said, you can't, there's so many things. And I've heard a lot of different business owners in conferences talk about this. Like, I can't do shit about it. I can't change it. Me going there affects nothing in any positive or negative way. I know that the technician that's out there, it's like, dude, he's as good at me as I would be on dealing with the people. And that's how a lot of things are, right? Like if you're away from your business, there might be a fire going off or something happening, but like hopefully someone's there is smart enough to at least pull the fire alarm, because like you can't teleport there and fix the problem right now.
Yeah, and that's a tenet of leadership like that. And there is a point where, and this has happened from Napoleon to Patton to, I don't know, Schwarzkopf, whatever, like modern, to ancient military leaders. There is a point, too, where leadership has got to get in there and say, hey, if the crew is down, there are times where that's like, yeah, you got to go down and lead, and like
100%.
Everybody's down. We've got to have Caesar down there at some point, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, like, yeah, the stoic thing you were saying there essentially was like, me going there is really not going to change anything. It's just to no benefit at all. And so I'm better off stay doing what I'm doing and not get affected by things that are beyond my control. And I think the sooner you learn that in business, where you're focusing on the right things and the more important things, and you let your staff worry about the things that they're supposed to worry about, I think
1,000%.
things grow.
You make another good point that I didn't even think about. And as you say that, I do think that's important for everybody to hear. No matter what level you get to, I think it's super powerful. Like this situation, if I go and help and assist, yeah, whatever. One of the things I like doing the most is like never getting so disconnected that like everybody knows that I would go out and do anything at any time. Like I don't care if the job that we have is cleaning a toilet or scooping shit, like I would do it as well. And I do not care. And I don't care the conditions. If I expect you to do it, I would do the same. And so those opportunities that I've loved, like monthly, every couple months, whatever that is, go out and get involved in the field. Go out and try to do something that's probably one of the more not so fun things that you do, just to show face and show that like, hey, I'm right here with everybody else too.
Yeah. I'm hoping that with now my role changing in the company, I'm not going to be as bogged down with client relations and design work, or actually I won't be at all, theoretically. I'm hoping I can get back to doing it, because I haven't been in the field at all. I stop in and do job site visits, talk to clients and stuff, but actually like being, as Paul Capote says, in the trenches with the guys, I haven't done that in a long time. So I'm kind of looking forward to doing that too. A, for some physical workout, I need that, and B just to kind of see how things are and let the guys know I'm still here and I can still hang, you know.
Yeah. Well, and it gets hard to do just for the reasons you said. You started looking at money and investments and things different. You start looking at roles different. You start realizing that, like, we started doing some paperwork in Florida in-house, which I never really wanted to do, but we're getting back into it.
Yeah.
And so here we are. Cool. And I've been out there a couple days, maybe just overseeing, and really not that long. But you start to realize that as much as I could be out on a paver project and do cuts on caps or any part of it. I don't care. And I love it. Like, I love working in the field. But you start realizing, like, there's so much more value for me to help the team if I'm in the office, if I'm figuring out this next big thing we do, figuring out how we incentivize and structure getting more reviews. So then more people will come and we can keep employing people or more people,
Yeah, that impact of I've thought about that a lot, and there's places you've got to realize in business, and I'm still, that's one thing. I say all this stuff, and then I can't wait to find out what I still don't know, right?
Yeah.
Like, I say this now, and then, like, there's still another layer to infinite, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
of, like, what I don't know yet. But I mean, working in the company where you have, excuse me, the biggest impact, right? So yeah, I can go out and lay pavers with the crew. Cool. I put in 8 man hours or 10 man hours that day. Wow. But if I spend the day recruiting and finding 3 new team members that can now put 24 man hours in a job and help alleviate the guys on that site, because we just keep getting bigger and bigger jobs, then that's where I'm having the most impact and actually helping my crew. Now, there's still something to be said for morale and still getting out with the guys, or just making sure they know, right? But, like, where you have the most impact is most important. That's just plain and simple at the end of the day. And the good business leaders recognize that. And then if you have good staff and you have created a culture where people recognize that and they know the boss isn't there because he's creating more value with what he does, then cool. If you have team members that refuse to see that, then they need to be promoted to another company if that's the case, and they're not the right fit there. That's a Sam Gimbel, I think, quote there.
That's a really great advice. I love that.
But and easier said than done, of course. But yeah, where you have the most impact is what you need to be doing, 1,000,000%.
So you're getting involved. You're getting involved in more and more stuff. You said you got your hands kind of in everything, and that's really easy to do. And sometimes it flat out just becomes the whole shiny object syndrome of, I didn't really get it because I just heard people talk about it. But as you grow the company, you just get more and more opportunity to get involved with stuff. Maybe there's more access to money so you can start investing. Maybe there's more cool projects or you got friends that are wanting you to get involved in this. And these things just kind of like popped up because you're involved. But so with this and you doing multiple different things, and we just talked about reviews, so I feel like it leads well into it. What's your marketing looking like now? Because I know you've got the Hardscape Academy, you still have Auman Landscape, and you've got more stuff than that. But, like, what are your favorite tools for marketing these at this point? Is that a huge focus? What does that look like for you?
What we focus on, and now again with my role being pulled out of being pulled out of even client relations, part of my job is to enrich and deepen our connections in the community and influential people. And so what I will be going back to doing is one of the things I built our company on was a lot of networking. So I'm a big part of my marketing my job is going to be meeting with influential people around our area and our community here, be it political functions, chamber of commerce functions. I mean, you name the thing, charitable things, whatever it is. Like, a big part of my thing is going to be meeting people and trying to meet influential people, and hopefully, in those things, through those things, of course, still providing value and all that, but then making connections where it's like, man, I would, if they ask us about something, like, here is my sales and designer, here's my designer's number, and I pass it on to him, and then that system engages from there. And so that's a part of my big job there. Our website's still a big deal for us. Facebook's still a big deal for it. Drip campaigns on Facebook. We're staying focused on what we're promoting, which is design services. That's kind of again, this may change, but our big key change now is finding clients that see value in paying for landscape design. That's been very good for us. And we present beautiful plans that are well thought out and good horticultural standards. And just, trying again to create this whole experience. So we've got that. And let's see here. So what do we say? SEO on our website, of course, a big deal. And relationships. And really, when the phone rings, just try to get through that call the right way, right? And we have a system and a process as we go through that. And so when the phone does ring or when a referral comes in, we hopefully attack that appropriately and maximize that. But a big part of our aspect of that is, again, Facebook, our website, and then we're established. We've been here for 20 years. My company name hasn't changed much. It's changed a little, but it's still the Auman name, and it's very well known. And we have a growing community locally, and that's good for us too. So, yeah, that's kind of our three main tenets, I would say, at the moment. And we do some mailers, but they're in-house mailers. We tried a mailer company. And it was a joke. The crap they put out was awful, and I let them I let them carte blanche it, and it was just trash. It was absolute garbage. It was just terrible. It was just I was actually embarrassed at some of the stuff they sent out. It was just awful. And I was like, I will never do that again. And that's one of those things, like extreme delegation is what I call that. Extreme delegation fails. I just they said they can do this and that, and somebody else I knew was using them. I'm like, all right, yeah, hell, here's $3,000 or $5,000 or whatever it was, make it happen. And the stuff they sent out was just garbage. There's nothing that aligned with what we're trying to portray as a professional design build firm. We look like we were having a sales on window treatments for the weekend. It was just crap. It was just so you win some, you lose some, you fail, whatever. And I just was like so chapped by that. But that was my fault. It's not theirs. That's what they do. They put out crappy looking ads. And that works for, if you're selling windows or cut rate lawn services or whatever you're trying to do, or, God, I've really run in my mouth there. But like I said, it just
tell me how you really feel,
dude. It just didn't portray. And again, I wasn't mad at them, and it's not I'm not mad at that company. I'm mad at myself for just like that was an extreme delegation fail, and it didn't work out. That's okay. Now we do have a list of clients that we actually hand harvested, which is painstaking, but in select communities around us, and that we send a mailer to once a quarter at least, and if not, every during spring and fall, like every month for like 3 months, we just send out a little card, just got our logo on it, design build, whatever, design build excellence, whatever. And just always keeping our logo, the Auman logo, right, ideally in that brand. And we just keep that brand out there all the time.
Heck yeah. I mean, that's so important. We were talking about that on the phone with one of the team members today, just that brand recognition.
I'm so sorry. Let me back up real quick on my cut rate lawn service. What I meant by that was is a lawn company that specifically would compete on price. It's just what we looked like. It just was disgusting. It was, it just looked like 20% off competitor's bid or something crap like that. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's not what we're about here. Like, this is insanity. And
no matter who it is, we can do it cheaper.
Yeah, sorry, blew your speaker out. But yeah, no matter the price, we can do it cheaper. So yeah, adjust your ears now. You're deaf. Sorry, my laugh. Okay, so anyways, I apologize. I didn't want to, like I said, I wasn't not calling out lawn care. I just meant in general. We just look like we're just competing on price. It's just like, no, it's not what we're doing.
Yeah, and that's standard across everything. The whole competing on price thing is it's frustrating. It's not, I don't care. I'm not mad that they do it. It's just like, for me, it would be any of our marketing to fall into like looking like that category. That'd be very frustrating to me, because that's not, we're here to be a high-end service. Yeah. I'm not here to, Walmart has a place, right? A lot of people use Walmart. I don't want to be a Walmart.
Than I did last year. They make a lot more money than I do. So who am I to say?
Exactly. Yeah, but here again, there's different levels. There's a Walmart, there's a Target, there's a Nordstrom's, there's bougie stuff that I don't know about, and I don't want to fall into the one that's competing on price. Okay, well, so you're talking about the design and focusing on that. I made just some random bullet points. Like, I flew into work today, and I was like, I got to make some bullet points, and I'm going to lay out my meeting. And it's crazy that these little things that I wrote down, like, just keep falling into some of the stuff that you're saying. So I'm happy this is working out. But you're talking about focusing on the designs. And I know so your new shop was finished, I'm guessing at this. This was into 23?
24. Yeah, would have been the winter.
Or early 24.
It's the spring of 23. We were like really fully operational. We still got a ton of tweaking, a ton of optimization to do here, but we were functional the spring of 23, if my time is right.
Spring. Yeah. Okay, so even earlier. So, but my question there was, with you talking about focusing on these designs, how much have you been able to use your shop to really better your sales cycle, your sales system?
Yeah, that's been, I believe, very, very impactful for us. And so we built but again, and this is one thing I want to paint a clear picture. I've sold millions of dollars of landscaping without this fancy office. It all derives and stems from how you are confident selling. I didn't know what it was like to sell without a show. I say a showroom, but a showpiece, not a showroom, a showpiece. With our what we call the Vibe patio out there, and if you go to our YouTube channel, you'll check it out. But what the idea is, like with the patio we built out front, is not like 80 different colors of pavers and all this product everywhere. No, we built a cohesive single patio with steps and walls and a Heartland pergola, like all this, and lighting and a sound system coming this spring, a fire pit, a grill island. I'm going to put a smoker out there for additional ambiance when we have client meetings. 3D or 4D experience, right? But like, that's the idea. We want the clients to feel the vibe when they get on a well-made, well-designed space. And so we built this thing out there. But again, I've sold tons of landscaping without this, so you can do it too without it. You go and sell in the home of the homeowner, that's great. Our first meeting is on site, and we explain this whole process to our clients when we're on the phone, that first call. But our first meeting is on site, data gathering, contract signature of a design agreement, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. The second meeting is here at our office to review the plans, full set of plans, 24 by 36 inch plans. We tour the patio first. We have the fire on, we've got wine out, we've got charcuterie, whatever we feel the experience requires based off the client. It's incredible. It's really awesome.
That's awesome.
It's only getting better. It's just where we're going. I'm so excited for it. It's absurd. And again, it's not to pick out colors or any of that stuff. That's not what it's about. It's about feeling and emotion. And when a client gets out there and it's shaded and it feels nice and the fire's going and all this stuff, it's an experience. It's a vibe, right?
That's what I was going to say it if you didn't say it. Experience. People trade money for experiences.
Yes.
That's what they are buying. They're not buying your fire pit and your patio. They're buying the experience they perceive they can have.
And when I changed that framing of sales from we're selling a fire pit, we're selling a patio, to we're selling an experience. Again, last year's our best year ever. And coincidentally is when we started selling an experience versus selling a project. And when a client sees that the fire or the pergola we have out there, and we're talking about a pergola on their property for shade or a pavilion or whatever, like they come, I literally have 2 clients last year that they're like, oh yeah, this is what we want. Bam, $20,000 right there, done. And it's like, sweet, and it's just like, again, the experience is what we're selling and providing. And again, for the guys coming up that don't have this, you can do it without that. That's why you're going to hear me say a million times through here in my content of like, you work on yourself and your own salesmanship. And I know Jacob can help you with that, by the way. Through all his content, I know that's what he focuses on, is you're working on yourself. So you fix all that stuff. You start to fix what's screwed up in your own head when it comes to selling, and what I have done so wrong for so long of selling how I buy, which is totally not what I want to be selling. It's you sell to what your client's looking to do, not what you don't sell how you buy, right? That's my Bradleyism there.
Yeah. What do they say? Don't sell out of your pocket.
Yeah. 1,000,000%. I how many times have you had projects, and I've had projects where I'm like, I would never spend that much money on X, right? But at the same time, they're like, I would never buy an $80,000 skid steer. It's like, whatever, right? It's all relative. Or I would never spend, $20,000 on a mountain snowmobile. Like, whatever. Like, it does not matter. Like, what the client, don't ever put your value of a project against, the clients, right? Just because you wouldn't 100%. Pay that for it doesn't mean you don't sell it for what they value it at. And
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm done. I'm good.
And what you're saying, I think just like a little piece, I wrote a word down because I do think that like people get hung up on seeing somebody with an awesome shop or an awesome setup and think that that's so important. Way more important than that. Like, and when you start talking bigger numbers and you're newer, I do get that it gets like a little, you're tense because you just haven't done it. You don't know what you don't know. But just the certainty aspect, if you can figure out a way to become certain about what you do to a fault. I mean, the most certain person in the sales, like if you come to me and I'm selling it doesn't matter if I got an awesome shop to present. It doesn't matter what I have. If you are talking to me about a project and I seem very uncertain about the type of product I can provide, you're going to go find the certain person and move very quickly away from me.
You'll gravitate to that person without a doubt. And I used to be sheepish about like, well, this fire pit with the gas upgrade, I mean, it's $5,000. I mean, that's, you know, I mean, I would preload that thing with this is too much money or this isn't worth it. And when I started to throw that head crap out of the way and say, this fire pit with the upgrades, $5,000. It's a wonderful experience. You come out at night, you turn it on after work, long night. Kids are finally in bed. You can go outside, turn this thing on, enjoy a conversation, a glass of wine with your wife or spouse or whatever. And then you turn it off and you go back inside and you can go straight to bed. You don't smell like you've been at a campfire. You know, however you want to frame it, you can still cook on it. You can still roast hot dogs, whatever. The kids can do marshmallows. But we sell that experience of like, okay, the $1,000 or whatever, you know, wood burning fire pit. Cool. Yeah. $4,000 cheaper. You're going to smell like smoke. You're going to have to build the damn fire. You know, no one that we're selling to, for the most part, has that kind of time. And so we also sell that experience as well. And we sell that, you know, situation. And I want to front load or kind of go back a bit of the main thing we're doing here, Jacob, is we're solving problems for our clients, right? That's our number one tenet here. This prefaces everything we've talked about. It's like we're finding what our clients' problems are. A, they don't have any time. That's a big problem. So they're not building this thing themselves. That's not what our clients do. But we need to install things and provide things for them to add value to their lives as far as like, again, the same thing, gas fire pit or propane fire pit, whatever it is. They don't have time to build a fire, right? So we're solving problems with them if they're telling you, I don't have any time, you know, I just want to enjoy this thing, whatever. Whatever the case is, if you're selling lawn service, I pay someone to mow my lawn at my house now, which is crazy. I never thought that. I pay also somebody to mow here at our office. But like when I go home and the grass is freaking mowed, we just started this last year and I regret I haven't done it for years. But like I go home and the freaking yard is mowed and it's not a foot freaking tall, you know, because I'm like, oh, I'll get to it tomorrow. No, that ain't happening. I'll get to it tomorrow. And the grass is a foot tall, no cap, as the kids say.
Yeah.
And then I come home and the grass is mowed, the patio's blown off immaculately, like everything's clean, acorns. I got my patio, one of my patios, little flex there. One of my patios, hardscapers can do that kind of stuff, you know, build multiple patios. But like one of our patios is under these huge oak trees and they're covered in acorns in the fall or like little debris. And I come home and that thing's clean and I go out with the kids. I kick a soccer ball with the kids, throw a football, ride a bike, get on the horse, whatever. And I'm not worried about mowing the freaking grass. And so I take that feeling and that experience and I'm like, this is what I need to tell my clients. So this is what I need to convey, like this amazing feeling of peace I have. This is how we sell. And even on the lawn service end, you're solving problems. You figure out what their pain is and you solve that. I don't have time to mow the grass. Bam, okay. Hey, you're a busy working professional. I understand this. And you know, what we're going to help you do is be able to come home and enjoy your yard, enjoy your evenings, not have to worry about firing up the mower and dealing with all the stuff or dealing with another company. We are going to be turnkey for you and you're not going to have to worry about a thing with us. And you solve whatever little indicator they give you as far as their pain point, because they're going to tell you. That's why they freaking called you. I get so excited about this stuff, Jacob. Sorry, but like,
no, I love it.
Ever since 2 years ago, I took a sales training course, and it just opened my eyes to this world of like, you're not manipulating. Because I used to think, oh, this is shady and manipulative stuff. Like, no, the client's called you. They have a problem. They want it solved. You know, they need their grass mowed or lawn cared for, or they don't have anywhere to entertain, whatever their problem is, or their backyard's super hot. My favorite story ever. Lady called us for a basic patio, $25,000, nice job, whatever. But I wasn't excited about it, which is crazy to say. I would have killed for that back in my kid contractor days. But they kept talking about how hot it was in the backyard. And I'm like, and she mentioned it twice or three times. And I'm like, okay, there's the pain point. This yard is hot. It's west facing. I already know that, right? And there's no shade. Hey, I got an idea. I want to float it by you. We always go for a yes, right? It's gonna blow our budget to pieces. But I just came up with something here I think it'd be really cool, and it's gonna solve this heat issue we've got back here. Would you like to hear about that? And oh yeah, sure, let's talk about it. Okay, what we're gonna do, I think we should take this patio and nook it into the back hill and put shade trees and put a pergola over it and blah blah blah, all this stuff. Like, is that something you want to? I mean, this is gonna be expensive, but like, is this something you want to talk about more? Yeah, let's draw this up. Let's cool. They went from $25,000 budget to 77 with us.
Mm-hmm.
And because we solved a problem that they knew they had subconsciously, didn't know it was solvable. Do you know what I mean? And it was one of the coolest things ever. And And now that's what I listen for when I'm talking to prospective clients of like, what problem can I solve for them, and go from there.
So base level to just look at, it will home back into the grass, right? Because I feel like a lot of people might listen to this and say, oh, Caleb, well, you can build value really easy in a dope ass outside living thing.
Right, sure.
Just go right back into the grass side of things, though. So many people focus on the base level. This person's thing is they need grass cut. And then that's just how they look at it, right? Like when we start with a problem, then we figure out like what kind of experience we can create. I go straight to, and we shifted our marketing a long time ago towards this, really when we were tailoring to maintenance marketing, which we really don't market anymore. We still get it whether or not, just with the name of our company. But just focusing on that, spending time with your family, creating that experience of time, because I had the exact same thing, nothing mowing my lawn. Now maybe it's a little bit different because if I was to mow my lawn now, I've got like my kids involved and they're like doing it. So we're able to create an activity out of stuff.
Yeah. Since my kids are able to mow our grass too, they will be mowing our grass, right? They'll be doing something. I'm sure.
Hey, my 7-year-old and my 9-year-old can run 0-turn stand-up mowers.
Heck yeah.
And they're not like quite doing the whole lawn yet, but they're involved.
Awesome.
And but back to the thing, you're selling the experience. That time saving is what we always focused on with maintenance, because that's huge and people value that. And our company looked at it like the ideal client was a busy professional. What are busy professionals with the funds to do these things? What's their issue? They don't have any time because they're busy. So if you can buy back any of that for them, that's the problem that they're actually trying to fix.
And you tell them that of like, what I'm hearing here is you're a busy working professional and you're probably really good at what you do. And the last thing you want to deal with is mowing tall grass at the end of the week or whatever. And so what we're here to help you with is to make sure that's taken care of for you by Friday, so you can get home, fire up the grill and grill a filet, and not worry about mowing your yard and dealing with that stuff and pulling weeds and stupid crap like that. Like you listen and you ask questions for finding out why really did they call you? Like, why did they call you? Generally in the lawn care thing, it's going to be time, or they just do not want to freaking mow. And so you figure like and you just frame it back to them. You mirror that, right? You just, hey, to save you from having the hassle of being out in this hot Florida heat, this miserable Florida heat, we do that for you. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And so that you can enjoy your time with your family and your wife and whatever. Like you just turn that around, and that's the way to go.
And I don't know, I didn't ever really think about this from a marketing standpoint. We say it a lot in the office for different reasons, but I like the pitch of minimalizing, like you could be doing something so much better. Like, do you really want to spend your time making tall grass short? Like you could spend time with your kids. We use that, like I said, different context here a lot of times in the office, but that just popped to mind. I had to share it.
It's the truth though. Like, do you value mowing the grass or like kicking soccer ball or whatever it is, right? That's more than that. And you just figure out how to frame that around the people, and it will relate once you figure that.
For sure. Well, so I've got 2 more things. Actually, I wrote like 10 more things after all my
good
other
for whatever you need. I think I'm good till noon.
But I want to ask these. Well, I'll have to hop off probably in the next 5 or 10. But first, what big innovations, or what's the biggest innovation you think that you see coming right now in the hardscape industry?
In the hardscape, the biggest innovation I see coming in hardscape is training. Is training people. I don't think AI is going to affect hardscaping per se much, but I think training is probably the big thing there. Training is probably the big thing. I know some folks have some big things in the works when it comes to training, and it doesn't have to do with our thing called Hardscape Academy, but like I think the quest for knowledge and understanding of how to do, in so much as landscaping is involved, or hardscaping is like just trying to learn this stuff. So the technology and the tools are getting better and better, but until our industry opens its mind to like how much benefit we can have from buying more and more tools and machines, we won't have a lot of innovation, unfortunately. But there's a lot of great tools and equipment out there. But I think education and training is like the new frontier, and really because the trades are turning. I think the trades are going to turn back around a little bit.
100%.
Somewhat. I can't put my finger on how much, but I think the tide is turning a lot there, and basic economics are forcing it too, I believe. But yeah, I think that's the main thing. There is just the quest for knowledge and how to get better at it, and then after that, like battery powered stuff gets better and better. So a lot of battery powered tools are really getting pretty handy, and not from a saving the earth mentality. I don't think that's stuff. I think that's a ruse or a hoax. But I do know, and we use a ton of battery stuff around here because it's so convenient and it's handy and it's fast, and we're not fighting gas engines and all that kind of stuff. So like on that end, I think the battery stuff's just going to get better and better.
Yeah, I mean, I think about like how much time does a blower's not perfect because battery blowers consume a lot of juice really quick, but I still think even a blower, how many little old blowers do you have that you spent half the time trying to get the thing started that it took to blow off the little area on a landscape job versus just pull the trigger. Pull the trigger, and there's no mixing gas, there's no spilling gas, there's no nothing. Yeah, as batteries develop and get better capacities, they're just going to become more and more useful. And same thing. I don't really think too much with the saving the earth. I drive a Tesla. It has nothing to do with saving the earth. I love that it's like a rocket ship, and I'm a huge Elon Musk fanatic. But I just see the capability of electric equipment and what it can do, and its usefulness. I think that's really, really cool.
Strictly convenience for us. It's just you just grab that blower real quick, blow off the top layer of your next retaining wall course, and you go on. You're not, but at the same time, like in the name of efficiency, in the sake of efficiency, we don't spit like if a gas powered implement, it's more than 3 pulls. That thing's out of here. It's gone. It's new machine. Replace immediately. It's got to pull in first start, or we're wasting money.
Yep. 100%. Well, okay. Here's the last one, right? And this is a big one. This is a big one. Me and you can both probably talk on this. But so, any tips on? And you've got your whole thing going down the line of this now. Any tips on being married and in business together?
Yeah, marriage coaching. Reach out to a marriage coach, not a counselor. It doesn't mean you're in trouble. Get someone you trust to be an intermediary, I suppose, if that's the right word. We use if it's okay, I'll say who we use. It's Tandem.
Yeah, go.
Brad and Tammy, they're our marriage coaches. And just like I hire a coach for business, for fly fishing, for snowmobiling, I am all about paying for the cheat codes if I can, of like every time I've paid for knowledge of direct coaching or mentorship, it's saved me 5 years minimum, every time. And so what our marriage coaching is helping us with, and again, that comes back to the self-development thing, man. You have to work on yourself and understand you're as screwed up as anybody, and you need to be compassionate and at peace, and your spouse does too. And understand that when you say red, the color red, they may hear purple. My favorite illustration of this, if you stand across from each other and one of you writes a number 6 on the floor, the other person sees that as a 9. And as soon as you realize, like, anytime you communicate, that may be what happens or is happening. And they may say something like, I know you said this way. I know you didn't mean it that way, but the way I heard this is, or the way I take that is, I'm not working enough, or I don't feel loved, or whatever. Love, if you don't know anything about this stuff, look up Love and Respect. That's a great primer to this book. Brittany and I just read together, For Men Only and For Women Only. So each book is respective to the gender there. It kind of talks about what's going through the other person's head. Dudes are pretty simple, believe it or not. We want intimacy and respect. That's like the 2 primers. And more complex than that, of course. Women need to feel loved. And so I think as soon as you figure that out, like, things you do may not make her feel loved, and things she does may not make you feel respected or appreciated. As soon as you two can come to an understanding of that, things are going to get a lot better for you. And I wish I knew that 10 years ago. It would have made things better.
So, first off, there's 2 versions of that book? Love and Respect.
I don't know about that one. There's the book Love and Respect, a great starter.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that I was just asking if there's 2 versions because I actually finished that last year.
Oh, the way I said that was screwed up. Yeah, there's not a For Men Only Love and Respect. No. I'm sorry. I apologize. There's 2 books, For Men Only, and the other one is For Women Only. And then the third book is Love and Respect, which is a great read. Or if you can take the training classes or courses on it, that's what Britt and I did. And it was really, that really opened my eyes to, like, yeah, that's right. I really crave respect, right, from my spouse, and she needs to feel loved. And so if I don't show her love, she'll it's a vicious spiral, right, of downward spiral, vicious. But like, if she doesn't feel loved, she's not going to show much respect. And boy, you go downhill fast. And so each person, you just got to be the best version of yourself, always understanding, like, Britt and I had a fight the other day, and it was like, we're arguing over something, and it was just like, we're just like, hey, we can choose how we proceed from here. We can continue the spiral, or we can draw a line and meet here at the line and talk this out, and not let this go into a week-long spell of hardly talking to each other kind of thing. And maybe the faster you get to those kind of, and you still, sometimes there goes to war, but like, man, I tell you, the more you elevate yourself with that stuff, just the better life gets, man.
Man, yeah, I think that's awesome, and I love that love and respect book. And you're so right. Like, and me as a man, like, I realize that respect is like super important, and it's crazy that you don't see the stuff till you put it in there, or until you actually kind of put it out there, I guess. But even what you said here, I think that's great advice. I think that so many people in our world today look around, see a happy couple of people on Instagram or Facebook, and just like the business, right? Like, nobody's got the problem I have.
Yeah.
The easiest thing to do is to get married. The hardest thing is to stay married. It takes constant work, and nobody's got it. Like, everybody's expecting something's just going to be this magical, easy thing. And so I like what you said about marriage coaching, but even on the marriage counselor thing, I don't think any of that's necessarily, none of that's bad. Like, we've done that. We've seen great success with that, because I know there's times where it's always just like your business. You get it better, and then you have a shit year, or you have a shit problem, right? And then you get it better again. Every part of your life's kind of doing that.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of going in and out of these things of trying to gain alignment and get things right. And I know there was a portion of when I started the company, I'm surprised I didn't get divorced, the amount I worked.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
And I'm sure that that's how most people think. And then they think it's just because we worked in companies. People are having these issues everywhere. And if you don't do some of the stuff, and I've got friends that, like, whether you call it marriage coaching or counseling, they're like, no, I'll never do that silly, goofy stuff. And I'm like, you saying that you do it for fly fishing, you'll do it for any of these activities. Like, why? Yeah. Why do people invest so much in that, but then they don't invest in this one thing that ideally you don't want to have to try to, like, do that over and over with different people throughout your life?
If you're married, I would encourage you to do that in some way. Do some sort of coaching with your marriage before you do any coaching with business or anything else. Because if you can keep the foundation stable, man, you can weather a lot of bullshit. But if that foundation is shaky, buddy, and I've been on both sides of that fence, and it sucks.
Man,
it sucks, and it's awesome on both sides of that fence. And I'm telling you, that's a big deal. And unfortunately, as a culture, we don't put a lot of emphasis on that, if any. And golly, I hope we somehow turn that around. But having conversations like this is the start of that, right?
100%, and you're right. And then I'll quit. Just keep hammering the things you're saying, but you're saying stuff that's so important. I can deal with the world falling the fuck apart around me if me and my wife are in a good place.
Yeah.
If we are at odds with each other, I can barely get work done when I walk into the office. It is just like you have so much bandwidth. It's a pie, and it's got 100%, right? And it's so crazy that one fight situation can take up like 99% of that, and then you just don't have anything left. It just blows my mind.
And remember this with your teams too, folks.
Yep.
Everybody's doing this. Your guys have these, and your gals and whoever, like, they had a bad night last night with their spouse, they're going to bring that to work. And if you recognize that, you need to say, hey, can I help in any way? And try to focus today if you can, and offer help as best you can. Some men you just can't reach, and lead horses to water and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, it's tough in business. If you want to talk more about that stuff, togetherinthetrades.com, I'll throw a shameless plug in there. But I don't make any money on that venture. That's a philanthropic thing. It doesn't make any money, but we have anywhere from 30 to 50 couples come to that every year. It's in Charleston, South Carolina this year. Or no, it's Savannah, Georgia. Sorry. Savannah, Georgia this year. It's a great event. The feedback we get from it's just incredible. And like I said, that's our charitable arm there, I suppose, with the Fullertons.
Awesome, man. Well, kind of in conclusion, I'm glad you threw that piece in, but where all can people find you, or what all things are you involved in where they can watch or kind of learn from you?
All Instagram and YouTube at Auman Landscape. You'll find us the hardscapeacademy.com, Kid Contractor Podcast, togetherinthetrades.com. There's probably some other stuff, but I don't know. That's the main ones, Jacob. So yeah, thank you, man, for the opportunity to be on. I really appreciate it. I loved every time I talk to you. I'm like, gosh, I need to talk to Jacob more. I just love talking to you, man.
Likewise, man. Thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate all the knowledge you bring and all the stuff we were able to go over. I could talk for 3 hours to you because this list, as we talk, it just keeps growing. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you for today.
My absolute pleasure.